Hi everybody, welcome to another Chat with Deb. Today I want to talk to you about a website called Scratch. Scratch is a site that lets your students do computer programming. Now I don't know about you, but I have some scary memories of computer programming when I was back in college. And computer programming has come a long way, so let's just say it's gotten much better. So here we are on the Scratch website, and by the way, the URL is scratch.mit.edu, and that's because Scratch was created by an MIT Media Lab. So this is a free site, and they say it will always be free, so that's great. Students do need an account, so I'm going to actually sign in here as one of my students. And once you sign in, then you have access to all of your Scratch projects that you've created. Now before we start, Scratch was made for students ages 8 through 16. But I want you to know that even at my age, and I'm not going to tell you how old I am, I enjoy working with Scratch. This program is definitely not limited to that age group. So even if you have older students, they will enjoy the challenges of Scratch. Now to get started, what I had my students do is click on the Help tab. And under the Help tab, there's a short step-by-step intro. It's a 10-step intro. And I had all of my students do this intro before they started creating projects of their own on Scratch. The best way to describe Scratch is that it's like stacking together commands, almost like Lego blocks, to make something happen over here in this section, which is like your stage or where things are taking place. So this step-by-step intro, which is right over here, is going to have a little animation and show me exactly what I should be doing. So it shows that I'm going to take this move 10 steps block and drag it over, and then as I click on it, my little cat will move 10 steps. Then I'm going to go down here and click to the next step, and now it tells me to add a sound. So over here I'll click on sounds. It shows that I'm going to add one that's playing a drum. So I'm going to drag this over, snap them together, and now when I click on this, not only will my cat move forward, but it will also play a drum beat. So now you can see how that works. Then I'm going to go to the next step. Here it's showing me that I can move back some steps. So I'm going to go back to motion, bring a block over. I can click inside here and I can actually make it go back however many steps I want. And now when I click this, it will move forward 10 steps, play a drum beat, and move back 20 steps. There it goes. So then as I look down, it says to add another play drum block, but choose from the drum pull-down menu. So I'm going to go back to sound, and I'm going to drag over another block, and I'm going to click here and see that I have other choices of sounds. Maybe I'll choose tambourine this time. And if I would like to change the number of beats, I can also do that. And then again, I can click on the blocks and watch all of this take place on my stage. So there you go. And then I have the students again click down here and read the next step. Like I said, this is a 10-step intro. Each time they're going to learn what all of the different types of commands that they have to choose from. They're going to learn about looping and all different types of things. Now once the students have learned the basics, they can then challenge themselves to create new projects using what they've learned. I want to show you some examples of some projects that have been created by other people. One of the things you can have your students do is make stories on Scratch. So here's an example of a story that was made. To get started, you simply click the flag. The flag then makes the animation start. In this case, the person has given us instructions to click on the arrow. There's sounds, and then you can read the story. And then as you click through the story, new things will show up in the backgrounds, new sounds. You can read the story and continue on. So this is one example of a very creative and educational way to use Scratch. Okay, time for a little break because my dog Wrigley here heard the little kitty go meow on the computer and he got very upset that he thought there was a kitty nearby. So we're going to put Wrigley in his kennel for a little bit so I can finish this video. Here's another example of a scratch that I think is quite inventive and creative. I'm going to go down here and click on this riddle squirrel that someone created. Riddle squirrel asks you to answer riddles that the squirrel asks you. So I'll click the green flag. The little squirrel says hello. There's music playing in the background, which for the purpose of our recording I'll turn off. And it asks, do you want to hear a riddle? And then there's a box here for me to type in yes. And I'll hit enter, and the squirrel then says the riddle. What word becomes shorter when you add 2 letters to it? I actually know the answer to this. The word is short. So I type in my answer, and the little squirrel says, yep. Then it says, what has one eye but cannot see? Now, over here where the instructions are and the notes and credits are, the creator actually suggests to me that if I don't know the answer to a riddle, I can go see inside, which I'm going to click right now and do. I can see the computer programming that this person did to create this scratch, which is pretty amazing. If I scroll down here, you can see how much is involved in making this particular animation. And there's a lot of coding here, so you can see it gets pretty involved. Now you might have wondered back in the beginning when they first got started, what if I would have said that I didn't want to hear a riddle? What if the user says, no, I don't? Well, then it says, then go and play a different game. So the creator of the scratch has thought of every possible answer that a person could type in, whether they have right answers, wrong answers, yes or no's. It's pretty amazing the amount of programming that went into creating this scratch. Now another thing that you can use Scratch for is to create a game. So one of my students created this game. It's a maze. We're going to click here on the green flag to make it go. His directions say to use the arrow keys to turn the little arrow to work its way through the maze. So I'm going to give this a try. I'm not the best at this, but I will give it a try. So I'm trying to move my way right now through the maze. Looks like I'm doing okay. And the whole goal, of course, is to get to the end of the maze. Oh, I'm doing pretty well. Let's take a look inside and see what kind of coding my student had to use in order to program this game. So you can see over here all the coding that it took. I'm sorry if my picture's in the way of a little bit of it, but I am so impressed by what my student all had to learn and troubleshoot and figure out in order to make this maze. Not only does Scratch promote a community for users within it, but it also has a great community for educators. So if you go to scratch.mit.edu/educators, you come to this wonderful community, Scratch ED Online Community. Right here's the link to it that allows you to connect with other teachers and talk to them and discuss with them how they're using Scratch and how you're using Scratch. I haven't spent a lot of time in the community yet because I've just introduced Scratch to my students, but I do like how it offers this place to go to be able to find out what are other teachers in other parts of the nation and world doing to use Scratch. And then of course there's a video here too that you could watch, a short video, to meet Scratch ED and see how to use it. So it's another great part of Scratch. Well, I hope you enjoyed learning a little bit about Scratch. If you do use Scratch with your students, you can be assured that your students will have to think creatively. You can be assured that your students are going to need to work and collaborate together, and they're going to need to reason and troubleshoot. These are the reasons that I'm using Scratch with my students right now. It's promoting those 21st century skills that we want our students to have. If you do decide to use Scratch, let me know how it goes and what your students think of it. Share out in the teacher community what kind of projects your students did or how you incorporated it into your lessons. We'd love to hear about it. All right, everyone. Until next time, I wish you great health, much happiness, and warmer weather than what we're having in Wisconsin. Take care, everyone. Bye.